Hello. Hello, and thanks for joining us for the Looking Back series. I'm Mary Ann Pleva. My guests today, an occupational therapist, a world traveler, a realtor, were not enough for today's guest, Gail Colby. When she took on the task of writing the book called People and Places of West Beach, she became a historian and an author. And I know you'll enjoy the next 30 minutes with us. So, Gail, welcome.
Thank you.
It's so good to have you here. As I was saying, we started this quite a while ago when we first got together and decided we were going to do this. So I am so glad that this day has finally come.
Yes.
So let's get to some of the questions. A bit of background, if you would, where you grew up, went to school, college, and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. I grew up in Enfield, went to Enfield High, went to Manchester Community College and got my certification in occupational therapy assistant and my associate's degree of science. However, when I graduated, it was an up-and-coming field and there were no jobs. So I went to a related field, which was recreational therapy. Mm-hmm. So that's where I kind of stayed for quite a long time.
Yeah. In the same facility, or?
No, I changed several times because then I got married and then I had kids and then I went back. But in the meantime, I went and got my real estate license, which was fun.
Yeah, and that was many years, right?
Yeah, it was for many years.
Many years.
It was like part-time most of the time, which really was full-time.
And then after college, you did something that I guess if everybody thought about it, they wish I had thought of that. So can you tell us about that?
Are you talking about
your travels?
Traveling, yes. I traveled to Europe, backpacked with 3 other girls, and we did it for the summer after I graduated from Manchester. And we had a great time. I would do it again, but the only thing I would do different is get a U-Rail pass when you're still in the States. Because hitchhiking, even back in 1971, 72, was very difficult for 4 girls. So many times we had to split up, find a place that we were going to meet. But it was the best experience. I mean, to me, I didn't really mind it. There were times that got a little difficult, but that's everything. But it was a great experience. I would do it again, and I would recommend it to anybody.
I could see where the 4 women would be
very difficult because many small cars.
That's right. They're so much more conservative than we are here.
Exactly.
They still have their small cars. Well, that makes me envious, but why didn't I think of that? So tell me about your parents and your grandparents. Where were they from?
My parents and grandparents, they were also in Enfield. My grandmother was only like 2 years old when she came to this country, and pretty much that's where they were. They were in Enfield the whole time that I was there.
And an Italian heritage.
Oh yes,
both sides.
Both sides,
right?
Yes, both sides.
For all the Italians that are watching, they'll go, "Oh, a nice Italian girl." So, so it was your grandparents who actually came to the beach first?
Yes, my mother's parents bought a lot on Bellstone Avenue in 1946, and the family proceeded to build the cottage, which was mostly weekends, you know, summer, spring, fall, whatever. And it was a great place to go.
So can I say up to, from the time you were a small child to the present day, you have at least spent a summer there?
Oh yes, many summers, many summers growing up. I mean, I was an infant there.
You know every little bit of sand?
Well, yeah, kinda.
Every house, because we'll be talking a lot about the houses. Must have been fun to grow up there, and we do have a picture, our first picture here, of some fun on the beach.
Oh yes, that was actually a little before my time, but there are people there that some of the children of these men still do live at West Beach. Yep.
Yeah. I guess once you taste West Beach, you never leave, right?
Exactly. Yes.
And you married a boy from the beach?
I did.
A little
I
summer
married-
romance,
Yeah, yeah, I was, I guess. Yep.
huh? Okay. And then you, I guess you were away for a while, and then you came?
Yes, yes. For my parents and I bought a condo in Florida, so we spent most of our time there. And then in '96, my mother decided, my father retired finally at 75, which he did not want to retire. They bought a place, actually kind of kitty corner across from where I grew up, the cottage there. My mother's youngest brother owns that cottage today. And in 1996, when my parents bought the cottage, my uncle had started to demolish the old cottage because he was building a house for year-round living.
I see, I see.
So it was kind of nice, you know, it was still good back then. My
Right.
father and my uncle were very, very close. They loved to do things together, fishing and clamming, and always had a project going, always a project going.
And we have a little picture of your uncle.
Oh, my, yes.
coming up, but I guess, let's see. Oh, maybe that comes later. Anyway, you're also active with the Westbrook Historical Society.
Yes, yes. I started there probably about 8, 9 years ago, and it started because I wanted to research for the book, and I thought, well, they would be the people to ask. And when I went in there, I asked, has anybody ever done anything on West Beach? And they really hadn't, so I figured, here we go. But I started, you know, asking questions about some of the properties and some of the houses, if they had pictures or whatever, to start there.
Okay. And what else do you do at the Historical Society?
Well, we do a lot. We plan
Okay.
programs and events, and
Oh, there's your beautiful building. Okay.
there's the building. Yes,
So
it
it was
is.
a school, I
This
think,
was
right?
a library.
Oh, a library.
In
Okay.
1904.
So glad you're here.
It was a library.
Yeah.
And back in the 60s, part of it became the Historical Society. John Wilson was the president, and he formed the Historical Society. So they gave them a little section there. And then in 1977, when the new library was built, we got the entire top floor.
Nice.
The drum corps has the basement level.
Oh, really? And they're
Yeah.
still there and they practice
Yeah,
there?
they practice
Oh,
there.
that
Yeah.
must be
many,
loud.
many. Yeah, they're very loud. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, we do. You know, I do a lot of things. I chaired some teas
So
over
do
the
some
last few
little
years. Did a few
fundraising.
programs. Yeah, involved with the fundraisers. I did the walking tour of West Beach. I did a talk on West Beach at the library. And pretty much a lot of
Well, they've kept
research
you
and
very
organizing.
active. So
Yeah,
you must-
yeah.
You are a good volunteer.
Yeah, I try to be.
We're going to take a break, but before we do, the other thing I wanted to ask you was your parents, they both worked at the same place,
Yes,
right?
they
For
worked
many
at
years?
Hallmark, yep.
Yeah,
yep.
and I think everybody remembers
Yep,
Hallmark. I think.
Hallmark cards, yeah.
I remember it
yeah.
in Old Saybrook there. Was it somewhere else?
Oh, no, they worked at the
They worked at the
building.
headquarters.
Yeah, it
Where-
was.
where was
Well,
it?
headquarters were in Kansas City, but they
Oh.
had a large facility
Yeah.
in Enfield.
In
Yeah, Enfield,
Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah.
not to do with Old Saybrook.
No, no, those were like the retail stores. They were not involved with that.
Well, thank you. We have a lot more questions, but we're gonna go take a little break here, about a 1-minute break. We're gonna talk about public access television, which someone on this board says it's probably the last soapbox or last place to get local news. So we have to keep our public access TV stations going. So we'll take that break now.
Smart TVs and streaming services have taken over the television industry. VSC TV is proud to announce our presence on Apple TV and Roku to make watching your favorite shows even easier. You can access this service by downloading the Cablecast ScreenWeave app. Then choose Valley Shore Community TV from the list of channels. Select VSC TV Live to watch our channel in full HD. Or pick a show from our on-demand video library. VSC TV is your local Connecticut Midshore Valley digital connection.
Welcome back. And I'm so glad to be back with Gail Colby, who wrote the book we're going to be talking about called People and Places of West Beach, Westbrook, which is a beautiful beach. And so we talked a little bit about what prompted you to write the book, but so I don't know, what came first, the book or the Historical Society?
The book started, I started doing the research first on this. Basically, I kind of went around to all the neighbors and asked, you know, why did you buy here? How did you come here? Were you vacationing, renting? Did you have family here? And some were very eager to write stories. Others, you know, just didn't really want to write, but did talk to me, so I kind of wrote their stories. And what prompted me more to the Historical Society is because some of these houses I know had been there from when I was small. So I thought there was some history there, and that's what prompted me to enter the Historical Society to see if they had anything on the houses.
Yeah, and you also were there long enough to see a lot of changes take place.
Yes.
With homes being moved and so on.
Absolutely.
I want to mention that if you can see this book, oh, actually I think we have a picture of the book. But I asked Gail, oh, what a beautiful picture, did you take this? And she said, no, there's a gal in town that took it, Lucretia.
Lucretia Bingham. She lives at the Talcott House on Seaside Avenue, and she would post a lot of very nice pictures. A lot of people are posting beautiful pictures of the beach. And I happened to come across probably about 8 or 10 of hers, and I chose that, and I contacted her, and I said, would you allow me to use this for my cover of my book? And she was very happy. She's also an artist. She does beautiful artwork, paintings. She does portrait paintings. She is a book author. She's written at least 4 books. So yeah, there's a lot of people.
Person,
we
right?
have a lot of talented people that live in this area. We have many authors. We have more artists, more painters. So there's a lot of musicians and whatnot. So
so it's a good little place. And
Yeah.
it's quiet.
I don't know, it's not quiet anymore.
Let's see. So you say you're not an expert on West Beach, but I disagree from the book and from just growing up. So we have a picture of you and your uncle, Uncle Sam.
Oh, that's Uncle Sam.
Everybody has an Uncle Sam, but you have a real one, right?
Yep.
So there he
like
is.
I said,
with
I
his-
was there as early as an infant.
And then you're there. So actually, I want to start with the Elks properly. I think we have a couple other pictures here before we move on. And then we'll go to the Elks property. Oh,
So that is
There's
the
a
map
picture.
of the area, which I gave to everybody who went on the tour. And the stars mark all the different places of the houses that are in the book, and they're denoted by colors. So it would be Seaside, Bellstone, and Post Avenue going into Old Pent. And what we did is we walked, and we did a lot of walking, and I thought it was going to be a nice day in June, and it ended up being a very hot day.
oh.
So I had prepared with, you know, bottles of ice water and all, but it was a lot of walking and a lot of standing. And it went on for over 2 hours because we stopped at all the different places.
Yes.
And we talked about, you know, what was there and what is there now.
And you didn't
things
ever
have
do, this
changed.
was like a kickoff for your book, right?
No, this was after the book.
So it had nothing to do with the book, it was just separate.
Yeah, it was something, because after that, you know, people were saying, well, you know, I don't know too much where these places are. I drive by and I don't know where they are. I'm looking at the book, but where is this? So we did a tour of about, actually there was like 18 people. It was really a little too much. I should have broke it down a little more, and I probably should have broke it down into 2 sessions.
So you're not interested in doing another walking tour sometime?
Well, possibly, but I think I would have to like limit it to certain areas, you know.
Yeah,
because
not to try to do so much.
It's just
It's probably,
it's just much too long for people. I mean, it was fine for me,
Well, I'm going
But-
to call your historic society and find out when your next tour is. I have a friend that's going to take it with me. So let's see. So I want to talk about the Elks because I'm actually an Elks member for 15 years or so. So there you go. You know, sadly, Essex, where I live, doesn't have a beach, so I looked all around for a beach.
There you go.
And I found one over here in
Yeah, a
Westbrook.
lot of people join the
And they
Elks so
were
they can
actually-
come to the
Yeah,
beach.
oh, I know. They have a huge membership.
Yes, they do.
And unlike anything I thought, they were really glad to have me. So.
Oh, sure. Sure, they
Not a
would be.
very good volunteer there, but I occasionally go to the beach and have some lunch. So the Elks property, we have, oh, what a nice picture of the Elks
That's the
property.
new, yeah, that's the Elks.
Okay. So the Elks property, tell me now, isn't on the same beach?
Exactly.
Which everybody
thinks it's West Beach because
Right.
it's like right at the line between West Beach and Quatonset. That's where the Elks is. And it was formerly called the Dragonwick Inn.
Okay, I think we have a photograph or two of the dragon.
Should have some.
Yeah.
Yeah. See the Dragonwick. And that actually didn't become the Dragonwick until 1946. Before that, this house that we see here was built by William Goodman back in 1910. So that's what it looked like when it was the Dragonwick, but this is the house that he built on that spot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's different. That side porch looks.
Yeah, this is a 1910 house, which was beautiful. Look at the detail.
was
It was
beautiful.
gorgeous.
So then the Elks bought it and they took the house down.
The Elks didn't buy it until 1964. Before that, the Goodmans were there for quite a while. They sold it in 1945 briefly, and it became the Quatonset Hotel, but it only lasted a year. In 46, Joseph Prestia was the one who bought it, and it became the Dragonwick. And Joseph Prestia also owned a cottage on Seaside Avenue, which is the West Beach area, and that was in 1943. And the family still owns the property today.
Oh, wow. Let's see, we have coming down there we go. Coming around the corner there.
My beautiful
Everybody
two houses
sees
I
those
love.
beautiful
Yeah.
houses.
So the one on the corner is the Talcott House, and this one here is what we refer to as the Spencer Estate.
Right.
So we'll start with the Talcott House. That was number 161, and in 1910, Thomas Fisk sold it to Lawrence Newman, and he built a house there in 1911. By 1917, he sold it to John Talcott and moved over to Quatonset Beach. John Talcott, his father was a descendant of John Talcott, who was a founder of Hartford, and he also owned a movie theater on Main Street in Hartford, and that is where the 3 largest Austin pipe organs were. I know you would ask me about that. And today
That's so
there are still
interesting.
some in existence.
They're
that
all
are in
over. Yeah, I
plain
think they're
condition.
all over the
Yeah.
place. I think churches have them still. It'd be
Yep.
interesting to learn more about that.
Yep.
Okay.
And then the next one is 173. Oh, you're on Bellstone Hotel.
Whoops.
Seaside Avenue, Samuel Doane he built a house in 1916. He sold to 1923 to Elliot Spencer, and Elliot Spencer married Jean Spencer, no relation. There's a lot of Spencers in town. And he built a beautiful, as you can see, this nice sun porch here, which this is what it looks like today.
Okay, and these were just, I'm going to move on to the next question. These were never hotels because...
No, but the Talcott House at one time, they had many owners after. They did rent out rooms, and they did rent out space outside for like weddings and different events.
Okay.
I think that's where people got that, where it was.
They look like hotel when you
Yeah.
go around the corner there.
Yeah.
So there are a couple of hotels on Bellstone. Could you talk about
yes,
that? And
there
that we did
were.
have-
Yeah, that
there's
was
a
the
picture. It
inside
looks
of the Bellstone
so
Hotel.
interesting. to see.
Yeah, that's the Bellstone. I don't know if you have the Fowler or not. But interesting that in 1902, William Fowler built the Fowler House, but that is not the Bellstone. Built a 16-room hotel. And right next door, this is the Bellstone Hotel. The Fowler House would have been adjacent there. Same year, John Littlefield built his Bellstone Hotel. So over the years, there was a little rivalry between the innkeepers. You can read about that in the book.
Okay, all right. I'm getting signs we have to move a little more quickly. So there were also a couple of bakeries. What's a beach without a bakery, right? So could you talk about the bakeries?
Yeah, Emily's Bakery is number one. That came in 1936. Julius Zolk bought the property, and he was a baker from Yale University. And he sold in 1953 to Alphonse and Julius Zolk. Perpetua and Alphonse Lipsch. And it would remain the same recipes, everything throughout. And it existed until like 1980. But it was an easy transition because they were both bakers and all the ingredients for all the baking things remained the same, the recipes and everything else. The other bakery was short-lived. It was on Seaside Avenue, and it was basically breads and whatnot, but it didn't last that long. But I have a picture in the book. I was allowed to go in and take pictures of the oven that was there.
Oh, yes, I saw that in there.
Yep.
I'm going to move along to, because there was something very unusual, which you pointed out to me. There were two houses that were built and attached. This is question 14. I'm hopping a little here.
Yep. Yes, there were.
That had a big tower in the middle.
Yep.
And you're going to have to tell that story because
there
they're
they
moved
are.
all over
These are the
place.
pictures here.
Okay, there it is.
Okay, so these three houses were over on Quatonset Beach, which was then known as Hartford Place. These three houses were moved over to Post Avenue. And of course, they don't look exactly like this because they have enclosed porches now, but what's interesting is the catwalk that is between the two houses, which is number 69 and 74. Number 69 is a new build now on Post Avenue, but number 74, the porches are enclosed, but inside remains pretty much the same. And of interest, and when I show on my walking tour, the side of that house to the right, they were called twin cottages, still has the markings on there where the catwalk was attached.
We have a picture of that, the markings.
Oh, yes,
it's
you do.
kind of hard to see.
That is the house, is what it looks like today.
Should be after this one.
It's hard to see, but as you can see up there, you see the little markings.
Really
That's what was attaching catwalk that people walked across, which could be a little scary.
Yes, that was all that was holding it.
that was holding between the two houses.
I should go back to, I don't want to get too out of order, but the pier.
Yes,
That was
1910.
okay, talk about the pier. It was never rebuilt, right?
Never rebuilt after the
we have
38
some
hurricane.
Pictures of the pier.
Yeah, that's the pier. That was back on the bakery. Yes, the pier, the West Beach Improvement Society, which is now just called the West Beach Association, they raised funds to build this pier. And I guess it was a great pier back then. I wish we had it today, but the hurricane took it down, so that's the end of the pier.
And this name hasn't come up, but you talked about the syndicate.
Oh,
sounds
yes, the syndicate.
Very scary.
It does, but it's
who
not
were these
too.
people in the syndicate?
They were people that owned over on Quatonset Beach. It was Frederick and Thomas Fisk, Malcolm Pitt, Ralph Otis, John Spencer, Walter Wilson, and Watson Bliss. They sent a letter to the town that they wanted these houses moved off the property so new houses could be built. Where these houses went, most of them went over onto Post Avenue. We do have proof from newspaper articles that they were moved there. And those three houses that we see are the beginning of our research of what was moved.
Okay. And the pink, oh, there's a pink house.
Yeah, that was the
pink,
that was the
okay.
new one from there. So the research continues with all of this, and I want to give credit to Kathy Nylinger-Doan, who's a
Okay, good,
expert at
good.
Quatansit, and we're working together on these houses.
I just want to go to this, our last question about a house there, the yellow house.
Yep. 185 Seaside.
One picture is old, it's old.
Yep.
There's the old.
Yep.
And here's what these people that were so kind and
No,
foresighted.
no, that's the old.
Okay, that's the old.
That's the old,
Okay.
and the garage is still original old.
And you
then
can
the new
see-
one, as you see, is
And they've done such an
They've-
amazing job of reproducing that house.
right, and it fits in
To keep
with
the
the
character,
character.
right.
It's a great house.
So, great thanks to them.
Yep.
Hurley, is that their name?
Yes, yeah, they own that, and then they own what we call the Spencer Estate.
Okay.
So they've done great work.
Okay, so are we, oh. I think we're running a little short of time, but this is, I think I've gotten all my questions in. The book's been well received. It can be bought at the Historical Society.
Yep, the book
Or
was- yep.
if you're around town, I was with Gail when somebody drove up to her and said, "Do you have any books? Do you have any books?" So it's available.
Yep.
And there's also a book about Grove Street Beach. that
Grove
you-
Beach, yeah.
Grove Beach.
Yeah,
that
we
you
have
did.
that book there too.
Okay. And is there anything, because I feel like I'm rushing you a little bit, that you wanted to add about Historical Society, about you, about West Beach? About
The Historical Society is open every Wednesday, 9 to noon, or by appointment. Anytime there's something going on the green, we are always open. And it's a great place to come and research. And, you know, I think we've helped a lot of people. And we have now a new website. I don't know if
Okay.
the card that I had given you, the website is there, and we have a Facebook page.
Okay, so they can just
Yeah, they
if I
can go on to,
find out everything that's
Yep.
going on.
yep.
Well, I sure have a feeling this brings us to the end of the program. So we're kind of out of time. I hope you've enjoyed this program as much as we have. If you'd like to be a guest on the show or host this show, contact me, Marianne Pleva, at Conteza, CONTEZSA, @gmail. Thanks to my crew, Emily Miner, Anne Marie Lepard, Kay Tucker, and a special thanks to Gail Colby, without whom there would be no show. Please remember to tune in to the Looking Back shows every Monday night at 7 o'clock. Oh, and thanks for watching.